Welcome to Psychology of Home. Today we are talking to Abby, one of our Psychology of Home Design School graduates, and we're going to check in with her, see what she's up to.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with going back to a very young Abby.
Okay.
So tell us about your relationship with home and decor and just when you started really noticing surroundings and environment. And I know you've kind of got a little bit more of a niche than some of the other students, and we'll talk about that. But just when did this relationship with home kind of enter your field of awareness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I have vivid memories being five, six, and having it was very cool. I collected boxes and spoons.
Okay.
Don't be jealous. But
Maybe they have the boxes, but I'm not sure about the spoons.
Not so much. And bells. But I loved I really felt that connection to objects and to everything. I was, I had to go to the gift store. I had to it was like wanting or find a little pebble or a rock, or it's like always loving these objects and the story that they had. And I do remember just going in my room and arranging and rearranging, moving stuff around, and that really mattering to me. And I remember just, it's a great question. But really since I was young, the color of my walls are just really impacted by my environment. And my mom was a pretty good sport. I remember I was probably 11 or 12, and she's like, well, what room would you? She let me. We did this one time in my childhood. I got to pick out. I did green walls and picked out the bedspread, and I remember how it just felt so good to me. And I think I've always had that. It's a little chicken or the egg. Is my environment reflecting the current version of me? And I think sometimes I use my environment to, as the goalpost I'm working toward.
I like that.
Reverse engineer it a little bit, but it's...
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Where you it's like the Abby you want to be or aspire to be, and that's her surroundings. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I'm not trained in feng shui stuff. I don't know about it really at all, just a little bit, but that even, different areas and corners have different symbolism. And so I think that there's something to interacting with environment in that way that's can be really, really cool.
Nice. I like that so much. So what about the rest of your house? What did the rest of the house look like, mean to you? Were you proud of it? Did you have that kind of I just want to show this off to my friends? What kind of spaces did your parents create for you? Did it represent you? What was going on there?
Yeah, I think I definitely my mom cared about environment, and I remember her always trying to make it feel pretty and liking that. I wouldn't say that I definitely felt like I was sort of a visitor. I never felt like this home is my space.
Until you went in your room.
Yeah. And that would be more my own thing. And I think I also grew up with a generally pretty tight budget. And so I did pick up some good tricks along the way from my mom.
Some good finds. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was resourceful.
Which I appreciate that. And
but that's interesting to use the word, you felt like a visitor. So what about fast forward to your home now? What is your home like, and how does it represent you, and how does it make you feel? How important it is to you? Tell us, just speak about your home.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. You know a little bit about this, but I very quickly discovered the school opportunity with you, and it all happened within about a week of discovering all this water damage in our house and tearing it all out. And so the part of me, I know everything in life is not a metaphor, but a little bit.
Maybe
I'm a little bit like that. But so in this, I'm in this big leap in my life of starting a second career and redefining. And so it's not lost on me that I literally ripped up my my house. Like I
Right.
don't have a kitchen or bathroom right now. Like it is ripped up. So, and rebuilding literally from the foundation. So that's interesting. And I can say that my home, how it felt before and how I certainly aspire for it to feel is that, is just that it's like really holding everyone in the family. And I'm very tuned into the, just to the nervous system and more the effects of something like being able to have a swing that you like, a lot of taking kids to OT and seeing like, oh my God, this changes them when they just sit in this huge swing for 30 minutes. And like, why can't we put that in
your living room,
in our house?
Yeah.
And a lot of the meeting, the sensory needs and some of the more biophilic design, bringing in elements of nature and of water and being mindful of even of lighting and things like that, it was really my hope that the home like helps us to really thrive and helps us on a neurological level and a practical level, like that it's, and still have really young children. So I'm always trying to me, a design that's working is taking all of those needs into account. My kids can jump on the couch and not destroy it. And it also can look good. Trying to find, I would hope like almost a therapeutic environment, I think is the word I'm going for.
Yeah.
But that hopefully also still looks good. That's the dream. That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think those things are not mutually exclusive, especially with someone with a great eye.
Yeah.
So explain to us what biophilic means.
So
am I saying that right?
You are. Yeah. So bio is life and philic is love. So it's this biophilic is a love of life, a love of living things. And it's a sensibility. And there are some, just some principles that are kind of distilled down, but even about in nature, the light moves throughout the day. And so there's things when you're bringing biophilic design into offices, for example, ways that the lighting can actually move. So you have a sense of shadows moving on the walls, or obviously plants and water features when you can. Even things like, I need to find the study, but that in the wild, that when you hear bird song, that's an indication that there are not predators nearby for animals. And so, which makes sense. Like the birds are singing, they're not hiding, they're fine. So
it creates a safe space.
Yeah. So these subtle cues, because I feel it's a big ask to be a human right now in this world, and what we put ourselves through. And so it's an idea of it ties into that therapeutic element. But it's, can be as simple as having some extra plants. And it can also be, these stunning, like the airport in Singapore that is full of, it's a living organism and it recycles all its own water. I mean, there's very elaborate applications and more accessible ones, which I also like.
Yes. I mean, it is next level of what your home can be for you, and how your home can support you. So that's, and when we talked about that during design school, I was really fascinated by this niche that you're wanting to do for yourself, but also for your clients. And so how's that going to manifest for you? So you're obviously, there's some education that goes along with it when you're throwing out words like biophilic and just therapeutic. And I do know about indoor swings and how those can have all sorts of benefits to mental and even just brain activity.
Yeah.
So, and they're also cute and fun and playful.
Exactly.
Like they just make people go, oh, I want to play on that.
Right.
And just tapping into that childlike nature of just exploration, just play.
Yes.
Just play.
It doesn't have to be that deep that it's my vestibular stimulation.
Yeah. If it does that,
playful.
Yeah. If it does that, great.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you I'm going to come to your website. I see all these words. I'm kind of like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Or maybe I have a child that needs a little extra support here. So how are you going to show and share this work in a tangible online portfolio kind of way?
Yes. So it is in the works.
Okay.
So I have Abby Buchanan Interiors is live, and it says,
love it.
We're working on our website.
Yeah.
Like there's something will
under
come
construction
up when you go there. But my thought with that is, I guess I've been really considering that over the past few weeks since we were in session. And I think that a lot of it obviously is going to be visual, just showing people what it can look like, and that there's a real range. And so I imagine a kind of a core, maybe signature of what I'm going to do is probably will always be on the plant heavy side. And I started kind of dreaming about like, maybe I need to manufacture my own living wall setups, or coming up with things that are really low maintenance. I know that's going to matter. But my hope is to be able to show a real range. And so for someone who wants a very high-end and luxurious interior that also still incorporates this, it's not just only for kind of like a hippie aesthetic or bohemian,
right.
These elements translate. Absolutely. So I've got some spots scouted out for some shoots. I'm working on it.
Good.
But then I also had the idea that, especially with some of the more sensory elements that are for neurodiverse folks, are really helpful. A lot of times those people that are needing extra resources are not, may not be hiring me. And so I'm thinking of also putting together some ebooks and some, that's really important to me, that whatever, like I'd like to be able to empower people that are on a more DIY plane. Like, here's some principles. Okay, you've got $50.
Okay.
These tweaks, but I'd like to put those in. I'm thinking more of like an ebook that's you download for
money,
$9.99 though, right? And then also work with the clients that have a budget to work on a larger scale, or don't want to be the ones to implement it all.
Yeah.
I can do it. I will. And I will do it. But I that felt important to me how do I build something that is going to be sustainable for me financially, and also how can some of these tools still be accessible on some level. So
are you planning on doing any, like, as you're describing these environments, especially when you mentioned birds, and I know that's outside, but it almost feels like video and sound could be part of this.
Yeah.
Like it made me think this isn't just a static photo. I mean, I think photos are great, but it just feels like your website should be more alive.
I love, now I'm having all these like visions.
You need to hire this team.
Yes. Yes. Totally. So I'll show you the logo I'm developing. Part of it looks like an A, but it has moss in it, and I'm working on animating that. So it grows, or I feel,
that's
totally
cool.
feel that like it, I want it to feel, in terms of, if we're talking about just kind of my own business and brand that I'm hoping to develop, that it feels really alive, and also has kind of an elegance to it as well, like striking that.
Yeah, well,
important.
You mentioned water. Like, I mean, I'd love to hear those water features. So it's like I feel like you've got this, this, we said, the sensory environment. So really showing that on a website where you just, I mean, I am thinking homepage, where it's, this is something, because that's what's going to grab and resonate. It's not necessarily the words biophilic or anything like that. People might not know, because sometimes you don't know what's going to be good for you.
Yes.
You don't know that it's even it exists in the world.
Yep.
But you gravitate towards it, and then you can, educate after that, and really like what like you can even say like, what was your experience, interacting with, this environment that I created, and then say, things about biophilic and sensory and neurodivergent, and, really doing that kind of education, I think does need to live on your site. But I think first and foremost, show it.
I love that. Thank you for that. And I'm super visual. I'm seeing it all, but that, in a lot of those, like, I'm super inspired now, but yeah, like the homepage to actually be an experience.
Yeah.
That still incorporates, there are types of sound therapy that are certain frequencies that affect brain waves. And so without getting in the weeds, which I'm prone to, to like, why not maybe my homepage can actually be like a little mini deep breath for someone, and then break it down.
You kind of want to hook them and just, I'm interested. This is interesting. I mean, I've never really been exposed to this, but I want more, So, and I think all interior design websites should be better at showing than telling. I don't think I can tell when my clients first meet me, they've not read my about page, because it's like all on there, when they ask me questions, I was like, you guys just looked at the photos, didn't you? Which is fine.
Yeah.
That's how we get hired. But
good to know that.
And so there's this type of the biophilic experience. And then will you also, what if someone wants to hire you for a kitchen remodel? How wide ranging are you?
100%. Yeah. I feel
have talent will.
Yeah. I'm super grateful really for like just the way that all of this is kind of collided in this timing in my life. So I am cutting my teeth on doing my own kitchen. And
right. You've got your own house to be a portfolio too.
Learning a lot. And I ordered a measuring laser thing today.
Nice.
I'm making myself
accurate.
Crazy.
Measuring is always good. And not that easy.
Yes. Yeah. But all of those features, like all of those principles can absolutely still inform any, a remodel too.
Sure.
And even in looking at your, some natural materials or tiles that are going to play with the light, kind of give like a dabbled light effect, or and I think some of that will just be, that's kind of my own compass and my own, what I don't want to just overwhelm a client or with all of that. But yeah, I am absolutely planning to.
It's just your lens. Like when you hire Abby Buchanan Interiors, you're getting something a little special, a little bit different. So there's a philosophy and approach behind it. And that's really that's what is unique about you. So I wouldn't try to back off from that too much. It's really more, no matter what room in the house, you're going to bring this approach, this philosophy into all of it. So it doesn't necessarily, it could be a powder room, it could be a living room, it could be an outdoor space.
Absolutely.
So, and that people do want cohesion in their home. So, and a well thought out and intentional and healthy, just a healthy environment and things that we don't necessarily see or know a great deal about, but that it's doing things to elevate our experience.
Yes. Well said. Yeah.
So what are your pain points right now? Is there any obstacle that you're kind of working through that you feel like a little stuck or anything? Is there anything for you or are you just like all optimistic, go, 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 this is what I'm doing?
I think for the most part, I feel excited. I feel optimistic. I think I'm really aware in this moment of a need for some runway. And in terms of especially getting the portfolio. Yeah. And you gave so much amazing insight, and it's great to know if there's ways to work with the portfolio. But so I feel like I have a solid, some solid options for locations, but now I'm just trying to get a sense of the timeline and then of the resources it'll take to get to get that portfolio up, because I feel like that's and not striving for perfection, but also realizing that it is people are going to look at the pictures first and foremost. So.
Absolutely. But I think it's okay to push it out into the internet if it's not like perfect and exactly what you want. I think, you've got time. You can correct anytime you want. I mean, my website's changed. I don't even know how many times, 100 times.
Yeah.
I'm constantly tweaking it.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer. There's a great book called Feck Perfection by James Victory. And it's a book for designers, for any creative. But his whole thing is get it out the door. I think about that when I write Instagram posts, because some of them I'm just like, is this something? Is this all right? And I'm just do it. Just, hit the button and, move on.
Yep.
And even if it's not my proudest day, I feel a sense of accomplishment and like, I'm making progress.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. So that approach can easily work for your portfolio too. I think that homepage again is your big statement thing. But even if you get something that you're like, well, this is really pretty. This is definitely something. It's okay to put it out there, get things underway, and go back and finesse it later. Yeah. Really important just to do it.
I appreciate that. That was since I finished, or since we wrapped up our session, I'd really wanted to just to send some thank yous to the folks that came in to speak.
Oh yeah.
And I sat down to do that, and I was like, I'd really like to have a link to my website. And so that was it was a good moment for me of like, I'm not mortified of this. Like, this is in the vein it's going. Yeah. It's probably not going to be exactly this logo and exactly this, but then that's a little, I can certainly err on the side of overthinking and
just trying to be perfect and trying to go for your big aspiration instead of, I love in yoga what the message a lot in yoga classes is just honor where you're at. This is where you are. And it's a good place, and just honor it, have gratitude around it. So one of the things I think that you could do, and I did this in the beginning and it was very effective, is I didn't know how to do kitchen remodels at the beginning. There's a lot of things I didn't know how to do, but I knew how to put a living room together and how to put furnishings together, and I had a good eye and blah, blah, blah. So I just did that. I just staged that. I just got that portfolio. And, if I looked at it now, I'd be like, that's not that great. I wouldn't be overly impressed with that.
Yeah.
But what it did was get me clients that resonated with that work. And those clients weren't the kind of clients I necessarily work with today, but I wouldn't be here today doing what I do without that original work and those people that it resonated with. So
I love that.
Just put yourself out there and let the people who it resonates with come to you, make a match, and get some work done. It'll evolve and evolve and evolve. My work is still evolving. What I'm going to put out in the world 10 years from now, I have no idea, but it's going to be badass. And I'm excited about it. And I'm not going to look at the work I'm doing right now as like, why would I even care if I'm going to be so great? Then why would I push this out in the world if it's not as good?
Right. And because then you never arrive.
No,
you
but
never arrive. You never, if it's always, this isn't the perfect, fullest, exactly what it,
But that is where I am right now. And I want to have a lot of gratitude around that. And I want to have a lot of acceptance. And I want to have a lot of money. I want to have a lot of success. So meet yourself where you're at and don't look back. I mean, really, I don't.
It's good.
I don't have a clue what I had on my portfolio before what's on there right now. I don't really go back and think about it. I know that it did when I needed it so desperately to do. And I'm very grateful for just really putting out whatever. And I think I would consider it pretty mediocre work at this point. So I put out mediocre work. That's what my brain today thinks. My brain at that time thought, this is good. And my clients thought this is good too. And they paid me for it. and I was in business.
Yeah. And it is a lot. I mean, it comes back to the biophilic, the love of life. Like it's alive and you're loving it where you're not like, why are you only 6 inches tall, plant? Like it's going to grow if you get to nurture it and let it
that's a very, very good analogy. I mean, it's good to take things that we learn and put it through our own lens, what we think about. You went right there to the biophilic. So that's a very, this is one of your unique abilities is this biophilic word. And I love it. So, okay. So that's moving forward.
It's good advice. Thank you. I'm going to
You're welcome.
Take that to heart. That's valuable. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm really excited about what you're doing, and you have a face that just lights up, and you are biophilic. Like you're the face of biophilic to me, if it's love life. And what we are, is our superpower. So, I mean, I think a video of you on your about page would be hugely important.
Okay.
I do. I don't think the same for me. I really don't. I don't think that I shine in the way you do. So go out there and shine. And when I say out there, I mean on the Google. Okay. That's where they find us. Okay. And on Instagram and on Facebook, all the places where people want to or are going to go to find you. I mean, Yelp. It seems silly and it seems commercial and it seems hard to put ourselves out there. But if we don't, then we're doing not only ourselves a major disservice, but our clients that we're going to so lovingly and hardworking and all that help them. We're going to help them get to a different place in their environment. So
that's good. And it just makes me think it is kind of presumptuous on some level for me to be to sort of, this may not come out right, but like me to decide that what I have isn't of value or that it's too good or it's not good enough, or it's like, I can't read someone else's mind. So just to put it myself out there and that will be, that will be some growth curve for me for sure. But
I'll tell you how it gets easier or why it gets easier is you do it and the people come and then they hand you a check and you put that check in your bank and your bank account grows and you're like, I love marketing. I love putting myself out there. This is working.
Yeah.
It really does. And without it, how are you going to make a contribution to yourself and your clients? Like, so, that's why day 3, marketing day, I kind of sandwich it and floor plans in the middle of the school because it's the scariest one for everybody, especially for people who haven't put themselves out there. But once you do we also kind of get over ourselves a little. We're this kind of self-importance, the perfection that people are judging us, and we just get over it and the perfection, all of it. And I know that you are going to light people's lives up. I mean, you did that in design school. Like everybody, I bet you literally at the end of school, who was your favorite person? Then be like, Abby, like you were so lovely. Like I literally, when I said to your son today, like, you're so lucky. I mean, yeah. So go out there and light it up, lady.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for what you are bringing and the empowerment you're bringing in.
My pleasure.
Open book too, because I know this is all hard fought for you, and so thank you for opening doors.
Yeah, it feels really good actually. Yeah, I like this job so much, and to be able to share it with people like you that I know are going to go out and do great things with it, and not be all ego, competition, scarcity like a lot of people are in this business. And that's not to put them down. It's just to say I don't operate from that place. Yeah. And I really want to teach other designers that there's room for all of us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I could go on and on and on about the details that are necessary to think about when designing your bathroom. What is more important to me is to acknowledge that this is the place where you look at yourself, where you spend time studying yourself. This is for maybe women more than men, but we are putting our makeup on, we're doing our hair, we're having this time and attention with ourselves. And it needs to be a place that makes us feel positive and relaxed and not judgmental. So while, yes, we want to have a beautiful tile and we want to have pretty towels and all the little details that are good for function and as well as aesthetics, it really just needs to be a place that we feel good in.